Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Let's Taste with the Intrepid Wino. My name is James Scaresbrook, and I have, actually quite a while ago, I got sent some samples from the lovely Tash at Darrenburg. Always happy to receive samples from her. And they were four different sweet wines from Darrenburg. I don't even know of any winery in Australia that makes 4 different sweet wines, let alone, I mean, like, they're just dessert wines. We're not talking fortified wines here. We are talking, I believe, late harvest, possibly botrytis affected wines. So what an opportunity to open up all 4 of them. They are, I think they're all from the same vintage. They're all from 2015. They all have a recommended retail price of $20, and they of course are all from the, oh no, actually they're not all from the McLaren Vale. They are from either McLaren Vale or the Adelaide Hills. So look, let's just jump straight into it. I have a bit of a sweet tooth at the moment, so what a fun tasting this will be. Let's start off with the Wrinkled Riesling 2015. So this one is from the McLaren Vale. It's the only 100% McLaren Vale wine we're going to taste today. Of course, these are all 375ml bottles. Very tall bottles, and hopefully you can see me above the bottles. So, lovely kind of bright yellowy golden colour. Really, straight away, you smell that concentrated peach pear, candied lime and lemon, a little bit of creaminess, but you just smell the really lovely ripe fruit characters. You do see that kind of, it's very faint, possibly because it's a warmer climate, but you smell that kind of distinctive Riesling sort of oiliness. Let's taste. Quite sticky. A lot of sugar concentration in here. You really feel it in terms of texture. The alcohol is quite light. It's only coming in at, if I can find it, it's so easy, 10.4% alcohol. This is really all about the sweetness and that fruit sweetness. It's quite cloying. It really does lack the acidity to keep things fresh. So that's a little bit too intense, a little bit much. It's going to go with really rich desserts, but I think it lacks some of the freshness of cooler climate late harvest Rieslings. Let's move on to a white wine, very, or possibly somewhat controversially named Tinea. Facaliana. You'll have to excuse me for swearing, but it is on a label here. It is a Sauvignon Blanc blend, 95% Sauvignon, 5% Sauvignon Blanc from the Adelaide Hills. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to rinse the glass a little bit, just to make sure there is very little residue from the previous one. And let's see what this very colourfully named wine has to offer. Toastier notes here. Some greener notes as well. Sort of ripe guava. Yeah, like even sort of ripe kind of sweet green vegetables, if that makes sense. It's got an asparagus kind of smell to it as well. Celery as well, really interesting. It's got a herbal note too. I don't sort of smell that really ripe fruit like I did with the first one. Let's taste. lot better. Again, it has really rich, intense sweetness here. It's got more of a kind of creamy texture to it, but it does have a bit more acidity, at least what I perceived to be a bit more acidity. It's a bit better balanced. It also is a very slight savoury edge to it, as consistent with the aromas. It has kind of a celery, celeriac kind of subtlety. Like it's almost like honey glazed celeriac. I'm not sure if that's actually a thing or not, but that one's a little bit more interesting and significantly more delicious for me. Sauvignon Blanc is a blend, famous for sweet wine in the Bordeaux region, particularly in Sauternes and Barsac. So that one looks a lot better. Let's move on to the Noble Prester, which is a McLaren Vale Adelaide Hills blend of Chardonnay 60%, Semillon 30%, and Viognier 10%. So a mixture of regions and varieties in this one. Just give it a rinse. This one's more kind of brooding, got more of a floral edge to it, some dried florals, but it does have that kind of apricot skin, candied sort of orchard fruit, stone fruit. Let's taste. Getting better now. There's more complexity here. I think there's slightly more warmth and sort of fills the mouth a lot better, but it sort of sits off the palate, which is quite interesting. I'm finding that one. It's got that. It's got the apricots and some braised pear sort of characters coming through, but it just sort of ebbs and flows on the palate a little bit more. Again, it's a little bit more going on with that one. So I like the Noble Prester. So much of that I'm not going to spit that one on. Lastly, we have the Noble Mud Pie, which is a blend of Adelaide Hills fruit. It is 95% Viognier, and very interestingly, it's 5% Anise, which, if you weren't already aware, is an Italian grape variety. Some people pronounce it Anais, which I guess it's not a difficult mistake to make. It is a sort of a French-sounding grape, but it is actually Anais. So let's see what the last one has to offer. Again, quite a creative name, the Noble Mud Pie. I'd be very interested to know where that name comes from. Here we go. As a child, Chester delighted in presenting his parents with carefully crafted mud pies. He often admits he has never really grown up and continues to make mud pies, now using the ingredients of the earth, water and sun. Okay, there is a connection. Probably the darkest of the four in terms of colour. It's quite it's an orangey sort of golden. Certainly the ripest on the nose. Really rich, ripe stone fruit again. Particularly, I'm being somewhat unoriginal with my descriptors here. But with these kind of wines, it's a lot harder because of that sugar content. It's a lot harder to go much further than describing sweet things or fruit things. Let's taste. That one it doesn't really present much at all. It kind of, at first you sort of expect, you see this initial whack of sweetness and some alcohol in there as well, but then it kind of just disappears, or at least lingers as just sugar. It really doesn't have much interest to it. It's a little bit simple. I think probably my order would be Noble Pranks is number 1. The Tinea. I'm not going to say the other one. The Sauvignon Blanc blend would be number 2. The Noble Wrinkled Riesling would be number 3. And Noble Mud Pie would be number 4. So I guess considering that they're all the same vintage, they're all the same price for the same bottle size, that's sort of my recommended order. I think this one's really good, and finishing up with one that's sort of boring. Guys, thank you very much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed it, hit that like button, and if you'd like to share your impressions, tell me which sweet wines you like to drink, if you like to drink wines with dessert. Do so in the comments below. Make sure you hit that subscribe button as well so you can get the latest video as soon as it becomes available. I'd love for you to come and visit me at intrepidwiner.com, where you can see every video I've done, as well as listen to my podcast and read some of my past blog entries. And of course, thank you to Darren Berg yet again for sending me some samples. Very, very gratefully received. Please do get in touch with me if you'd like to send me some samples. I'll be more than happy to open them on the YouTube channel. But until next time, cheers.